we're starting this video off, and we're gonna start off by reacting to Mark Henry, the world's strongest man. So yeah, we're starting off with Mark Henry. We're gonna watch an introduction for him, some of his highlights, and then of course his career story, some of his storyline or whatnot. So we're starting off with, my chat said this is a good one, 3-6 Mafia WWE, a live performance introducing Mark Henry. So here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 6 Mafia.
Hopefully I don't get copyrighted for this. What song is he? Yeah, jam out with me, guys. I do not know how to dance. Oh, woo, look at him. If you bust out dancing, I'm finna lose it. Cleach, thank you so much for the sub. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Cleach_DSG joined
yes,
the
I am back.
Spider-Verse.
I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean
Somebody
to cut the jam
Welcome
session,
back,
but I had to, you know,
fire
thank
emoji,
Cleach.
fire emoji, fire
Thank you,
emoji,
Cleach.
fire emoji.
Oh, this is a good entrance. He's just so like. He needs to break out dancing. That's the only thing that'll solidify it. Ooh, somebody go get that! Beat him up, break his neck! Someone said that's how my aunt used to dance. Nothing wrong with that. Listen, I really don't know how to dance, like, at all. Like, I can't dance. I can't even dance my own culture's dances, such as bachata, okay? I have no body movement, but I do love to dance. I swear I love dancing. I just can't do it. I used to do Michael Jackson The Experience. Dirty Diana. Alright, let me stop. I can't dance. I really can't. But anyways, what I was gonna say, I was gonna ask you guys a question. Did I move my camera? I might have moved my camera on accident. Anyways, is he considered, I want to know before we even get into it, is he considered a heel or a babyface? Which one is he? They said the rhythm is within you. No, actually, like, I'm supposed to be able to dance. I have the movement, you know? He was a heel? Okay, because I seen someone saying he was talking smack to the crowd, and obviously, with my little knowledge of wrestling that I have, I'm assuming a babyface wouldn't do that, so just making sure. Hey, somebody go get that. Oh man, so good, so good, so good. Oh, it's not even over. I thought it was over. 3-6, I guess, okay, this is probably when his opponent came in. Okay, that was a pretty good entrance though. That was heat. I feel like the song is really what solidified it. That's probably why people love it so much. Somebody go get their ass beat, you know what I'm saying? He's just like he mad. All right. We're moving on to some of his highlights here. Was that Chris Benoit? That's who he was fighting? There's no way that's who he was fighting. That guy's kind of little. Did Mark Henry fight Chris Benoit? Oh, hell no. I can't imagine anyone fighting him. This guy's humongous. Okay, well, we're going to be watching some of his highlights. We have Mark Henry's most iconic World's Strongest Slams from 2005 to 2017. Now, this is a little bootleg video because I'm not trying to get copyrighted. I'm trying to avoid the WWE. So, Chris slammed him before. No, tell me that's not true. There's no way. How? That guy's like this big. He's a little smaller than me. Okay, watching the highlights.
Maybe edges wide.
Ugh. Ouch. Out on the ladder. Ow! Ooh! How do you prepare yourself to be strong, to be slammed by the world's strongest man on a metal ladder? How do you prepare your body for that?
Look at this power! And with a counter. But not this time. Oh, strongest.
Ow!
Look at the strength of Henry.
Oh my god, and look at all the people he's slamming too. These are not small people. He's actually so without your spine breaking, right? You don't prepare, you just accept death. Basically, right? Because what are you supposed to do? I was gonna say, look at the size of the people that he's slamming. These are not little people either. I gotta pay attention to the wrestlers that he's slamming.
Jericho on the Undertaker over here. Mysterio. He's caught it.
Oh, look, he's so tiny.
The Miz caught it.
Not you got caught.
Strongest slam.
I have to see him one time do one of the world's strongest slams and then land on top of them. I have to see it at least one time.
Catching board in midair.
Oh! Bro is holding on for dear life. Oh!
World's strongest not being able to get it off the ground.
I gotta watch. Are they hitting their head? Okay, no, they're holding their head up. Okay. Yeah! Damn.
And the world's strongest man.
Oh my lord.
World's strongest slam right here. It's all over with.
Is that?
This could be.
Who is that? Big Show? Is that who you guys were talking about? No.
This could be.
Yo. Oh, that's Kane. That's Kane. That's Kane. Big Show is fatter? Dude, I don't know the wrestlers. I can't lie. Kane is bald. I didn't even know that. I think because I've only seen Kane with the mask on, right? He's the one that wears the mask. Yes, fat. Kane is the one that wears the mask, right? Okay, I'm not tripping then, because I don't think I've ever actually seen Kane with the mask off. Maybe that's why I didn't recognize him. I really thought it was Big Show with his bald ass. But Big Show's fat. He's bigger. I remember now.
This could be it.
Now, try to chop at those tree-like limbs.
Ooh! Oh!
Mark Henry! Oh no, not the world's strongest slam! World's strongest slam!
Okay, don't call me racist real quick. Santiago, thank you for the bits.
Santiago _ Snoop
What did he say?
95 cheered. X10. When Mark Henry was in his Hall of Pain era, no one was safe.
I see. He was taking out anyone at this point. I was gonna say, don't call me racist, but I actually don't know a lot of black wrestlers. Is that a me problem or is that a WWE problem? I feel like that might be a me problem. Do I not know anything? Am I not educated? I don't know. I'm just wondering. They're saying they're saying both. Okay, some people are saying WWE issues, some people are saying me. Okay, I'm just making sure because I don't know a lot of black, like, truthfully. I think Mark Henry is probably the only one I ever actually knows about. She don't like us colors. Stop. I am not trying to go to hell. Please. I love everyone of all colors. I love the purple people and the green people and the yellow people. I love them. No, but actually I don't think they actually pushed it across as much as I think. Because I only know Mark Henry, like I said.
Donia1 _ cheered. X4. Terry's a lot, but you're new, so it's okay. You know The Rock and he's black and Samoan.
I didn't even know The Rock was black, so thank you for that information. I didn't even know he was black. What the heck? Well, now I know. I know two black people now.
Strongest slam. Henry,
Was that? Hold on. I gotta rewind it. I wasn't paying attention. Shit. Was that John Cena? Is that John Cena? Who is that?
Mark Henry, strongest
That's
slam.
definitely John Cena.
Henry catching Slater in midair.
Oh.
A little naive.
Ah!
Cena's just here. The world's strongest man, Mark Henry.
Ah! Oh, these little people.
Mark got him on the ring.
Who did that?
Martin Derrick has gifted 25 subs to viewers.
How many? Oh my goodness. Thank you. I feel like that guy has done a crazy sub drop before. I feel like I've seen that name before. B. Martin Derrick. Thank you, 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 thank you. Thank you so much. I love you. I appreciate you. I believe he has done a crazy sub drop before, if I'm not mistaken. So thank you so much. I adore you. Thank you. Wow, crazy. Mind blown. I literally just got a migraine off of that. Because I had to my brain had to process it. Why did it just unpause on its own? I have a ghost in my room. The video just unpaused on its own. Anyways, what I was saying is, I just got a migraine from that. Someone said I got hit to dance. I don't have no music. I need music or something. I don't have no music. I could just hit a silent dance. That's my dance. Hold on, I'll be back. Sorry about that, guys. W silent dance. Okay, anyways, my cousin called me. I'm sorry. But yeah, thank you again, Martin B. Black. Martin D. B. What is his name, guys? Damn, I'm horrible. I forgot his name. B. Martin Derrick, right? B. Martin Derrick. Yep. Thank you, B. Martin Derrick. I said Martin B. Black. I be cracking myself up. Do you have 2 left feet? No. Actually, my feet go like... Let me stop. My family used to make fun of me because my feet go opposite directions, by the way. That wasn't a joke. Alright, back to the video, guys.
Strongest where he wants him. One mistake and the strength on display from the world's...
Damn!
About to be introduced.
Ah! Oh! No, he had to have actually hurt that guy. Look at the... What is his hand in his pants? Anyway. Look at how his back arched.
To the world's strongest.
Oh my... I don't have my fa sound. He hurt his back so bad that the man started stroking mid-air. He said... Damn.
I think Mark just want to toy with this kid a little bit.
Oh. Oh my god, it looks like it hurts so bad.
Jimmy and Jay Uso looking to make an impression. Yeah, they did. They put their impression in.
Even the Uso brothers getting did dirty. Who is this guy? Who is this random? He's just slamming people in the crowd now? What is happening? Oh, that's Big Show.
Oh my God!
Right there is thinking
Big Show,
about how
he
long
lifting
he's
Big
been
Show a
there.
little fat ass.
World's strongest slam being thrown into a lion's den.
Come on, guys. Come on.
He don't discriminate.
Strongest slam being thrown into a...
He don't discriminate. Bro, he's as big as his arm. Y'all gonna stop making fun of me.
Lion's den.
Come on, guys.
Come
on.
Someone say he's slamming every race. I wasn't talking about race. I was talking about size. That little motherfucker's as big as his thumb. No more stalling. Strongest slams. Do it. Ah! I love when he does it on the table.
Is the most dangerous superstar in WWE.
Not today. Cara's trying
No.
everything in the book.
Oh!
My God.
Oh, look at this. Look at this.
This is Ryan Seacrest ass motherfucker.
Lord, look at this.
Oh!
Strongest again.
Not just big.
Oh, he is killing him.
We going to
He is. No! Ouch!
I'm gonna tell you, Mark Henry's gonna have to chop this big man down. Wait a minute.
Not the great Khali. Yo, that man is too big for him to be slamming like that.
Like a man, son.
Mark Henry at work. You gotta be wondering what's going on. Here we go.
This is crazy.
What is that? The world's...
he slammed. Is that Randy Orton? He done slammed him so many times.
And again, Orton cannot.
Oh my God, poor Randy Orton.
Insane.
Oh my God, he keeps slamming. Oh, this poor man.
Again, physically assault the general manager of this show.
Oh.
Strongest slam. Mark Henry praying yet again on CM Punk. And again, the world's strongest slam.
Someone said, okay, real quick, I want to pause for this because this might actually make me cry. They said it's crazy how any MJ is a legend at anything they do. Michael Jackson in music, Michael Jordan in basketball, and then the beautiful MJ without Spider-Man in content creation. Thank you so much, Jay. That almost made me cry. Y'all gonna make me cry. We ain't even had the stream. Y'all do this every freaking stream. You know what? You know what? I'm sick of y'all. I'm sick. Y'all gotta be nice to me every stream. Can y'all be mean to me one stream? Like, just cuss me out one stream. Y'all gotta try to make me cry every stream. Anyways. Clee said, also, I saw your Reactiverse interview. It was great. Thank you. I think Eric actually told me it was one of the better interviews, and I was so happy. I was so happy. I love Eric. He's so sweet. Someone said, okay, you're blind. How's that cussing me out? You're stating the obvious. No shit. Fuck. Call me Four Eyes or something.
Stick bleach. The odds are.
Who claimed hit the Dougie? I'm gonna hit the Dougie while watching the slams.
Oh, no.
Ugh. Ugh.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. No, look out. Bad back. Oh, world's strongest second straight week. The vulnerable champion for a second time.
Okay, so obviously this man is very much known for these slams. This man is ridiculously strong. I feel like we could have found a better highlight video. I kind of want to try to find a better highlight video. I don't think that justifies Mark Henry. I want to see real highlights. Yeah, I don't think there's actually any. There's just a bunch of World's Strongest Slam compilations. So we're gonna go into his career story. Yeah. This one is just called The Wrestling Storyline That Saved a Career. I've seen a couple videos from this Marky D123 character. I don't know who this is, but apparently he does these type of career story stuff. So hopefully he does a good job at explaining this stuff. Fingers crossed. Andre said, I love your laugh. Thank you. I don't know why everyone loves my laugh. I actually hate it. It's horrible. It's so bad. You have to find his Mae Young relationship storyline for a highlight. Okay, I'll look it up after this. Because this one's only 15 minutes long, so we'll just watch this through.
Alright, who's ready for a smack to the gut? Today marks the return of Was It Any Good? I'd smack you one if I could. Basically, we watched back some good old wrestling to find out if it was any good. Today's video was also...
Okay, no offense to him, but his accent is really hard to understand. I heard smack to go, smack to go. And I'm like, what? Anyways, MJ, your binoculars have a little dust on them. Happy. I don't know why when you laugh it makes my heart melt. I love that you guys love my laugh, but my laugh is a select taste. That's the best way to describe it. You guys find it funny, and I find it extremely annoying.
a Patreon request by Mark Stratton. If you want to make the Hawk talk, sign up today. Alright, it's the Mark Henry Hall of Pain. Was it any good? Well, it wasn't exactly going well for old Mark Henry. The weight of expectations had crushed his career, and his 10-year contract had hung around his neck like a noose. When it expired in 2006, nobody
You guys told me it was good.
Whilst he'd done okay, Henry hadn't exactly turned into the beast that Vince McMahon would have hoped for. There were always glimpses, but that was it really, glimpses. He was the world's strongest man, but he somehow didn't play up to or surpass that title in the WWE. Now the Hawk can admit that by 2011 I had completely given up on the guy. He was in the WrestleMania pre-show Battle Royal, for God's sake. And I wasn't personally paying much attention to the WWE at this time, especially following around Mark Henry's career. But everybody has always told me that I slept on the Mark Henry Hall of Pain. So today, I'll be finding out if it really and truly was any good. And of course, if the Hawk deserves a smack from the
Real
bat.
quick, I just want to say Mark Henry's hairline is absolutely crazy. It's so funny how you won't remember any of this when he gets older too. Oh, he will. I have all the embarrassing videos. He's gonna remember. Could you believe one time I was watching him on the baby monitor and he took his diaper off and he just started, if you know, you know. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? It was kind of a humbling moment as a mother, okay?
So off we go to the year 2011, where Mark Henry had just been drafted to SmackDown. The crowd aren't even reacting to him as he makes his entrance.
Someone said Mark Henry got a head like a Buick.
During this SmackDown main event, Mark Henry randomly turned heel on John Cena and Christian, and everybody is confused. The World Heavyweight title picture on SmackDown quickly starts hotting up, and Mark Henry randomly demands a shot at Randy Orton. But Christian and Sheamus seem to be in front of him in the queue. It's agreed that they will have a triple threat.
Oh wait, I don't think we have Sheamus on the list either. Do you guys want to go ahead and add him too? You should probably add him too. I don't think I have him on the wrestling list. Let's add Sheamus. Alright.
Gonna have a shot at Randy Orton. The promos leading up to this are important, as Mark Henry admits he hasn't been relevant in a very long time, and then he turns into a serious big man who's tired of being called stupid. I love how they were touching on the real life comments here, saying that Henry has been around forever and he hasn't achieved very much. This match instantly feels better than many Mark Henry matches you'd be used to seeing, as he seems to wrestle more like a dominant big man.
I like
But
that.
unfortunately, he's still stupid as he gets in Randy Orton's face during the match, and the Viper responds hitting an RKO on him, costing Henry his chance.
Ah.
But Mark Henry would refuse to toil with irrelevance again. Despite his shift in character, he was still losing matches, which is why what happened next left everybody shocked by Henry's actions. The Big Show had just been run over by a car, and now he had to face the world's strongest man, which, to be honest, sounds like a dick move from the WWE.
It
The
definitely
Big Show was
does.
in a very foul mood, so he booted Henry in the head and beat him so badly that he had to be stretchered away. And this might sound like Mark Henry was getting buried here. I mean, he got beaten up by a guy who'd just been run over, for God's
This is
sake. But it actually
crazy.
serves as a sort of awakening for the world's strongest man.
Someone said, MJ, I found a better video, unless you like this one. It's by Wrestling Bios. Does it actually talk about his history and his come up to the WWE? Because that's what I'm interested in. This guy's kind of just covering his Hall of Pain era, and I kind of wanted to see his whole story. Wrestling Bio got an accent too. I mean, I don't care about accents. That's what subtitles are for. Hello? Let me see. Wrestling bios. Mark Henry. Let's see. Hopefully it's not too long because I don't have a lot of time. Story of a Nation of Domination. The only one I see is the Hall of Pain, how Mark Henry became WWE's most terrifying monster. I guess that one can work. It's 30 minutes though. I do not have 30 minutes, so. Okay, I love this intro, but we gotta move. I don't got a lot of time.
Normally large individual using their size and strength to intimidate their opponent.
Oh, what the heck? Why did I skip so far?
What he'll be best known for whenever anyone mentions his name. So in today's video, we're going to take a look back at Mark Henry's World Heavyweight
this accent is a
Championship
little
run,
easier to
where he'd
understand,
finally
the
be
Irish
able to show
accent.
the world just what he was capable of. Welcome to the Hall of Pain.
Welcome to the Hall of Pain. Okay.
Having spent the past few years as part of various tag teams with the likes of MVP and Evan Bourne, Mark would be moved from Raw to SmackDown as part of the 2011 WWE Draft, an annual tradition that would shake up the rosters on both brands. The draft would take place on the April 25th episode of Raw, and Henry would feature in that show's main event as part of a 6-man tag team match pitting Raw stars against SmackDown stars. The winners would earn a draft pick for their brand. During the bout, Henry, who was a babyface at the time, turned on his SmackDown comrades before leaving the ring, allowing Team Raw to pick up the win. Later on that
What?
week's edition
Why
of
he do
SmackDown,
that?
Henry made his debut on the Blue brand by going one-on-one with Rey Mysterio, a man who was going the opposite direction from SmackDown to Raw. The world's strongest man dominated the biggest little man despite Rey showing his trademark heart and resiliency. After hitting the 619, Mysterio would get attacked by his upcoming pay-per-view opponent Cody Rhodes, causing the match to end prematurely. Rhodes would destroy Mysterio, leaving Henry to pick the bones with his world's strongest slam finishing move. From here, Henry would get moved into his first main feud on SmackDown as he would butt heads with the brand's other colossus, the 7'2" 500-pound Big Show. Show, despite being a Raw star, appeared on SmackDown to address his upcoming opponent at the Capital Punishment Show, Alberto Del Rio. An emotional Big Show was interrupted by SmackDown GM Teddy Long, who informed the Giant that if he laid a finger on Del Rio, then both Show and Teddy himself would lose their jobs in WWE. And since the big man invited himself onto the Blue brand and was dressed to compete, Long selected Mark Henry to face Big Show, and that match would take place immediately. A furious Show launched an attack on Henry as soon as he got in between the ropes, culminating in Big Show using his WMD punch to lay Henry out. Show then walked away.
I
as
ain't gonna
Mark
lie,
was
getting
taken
your
out on
ass
a
beat
stretcher,
after
so later that
by
week
someone
at
who
Capital
just got hit
Punishment,
by a car
Mark
is
Henry
kinda
would get his
crazy.
revenge as he would interject himself in the Big Show versus Alberto Del Rio match. Before the bell
Ray been getting hosed when his mask was removed. What the heck?
rang, Mark attacked Show from behind before scooping the big man up and driving him through the announce table with a world's strongest slam, a feat of incredible strength. Show would eventually be able to get in the ring to officially start the match, but the damage was done and Del Rio would win via referee stoppage. The following night on Raw, Mark would face the Big Show's buddy Kane in an arm wrestling match as voted by the WWE fans. In typical fashion, there would be no winner as Henry attacked Kane before a winner could be crowned. Just like the previous night, Henry scooped Kane up and he planted him through the announce table at ringside, proving that the world's strongest man was now to be taken deadly seriously. Henry would once again show up on Raw the following week to once again interrupt the Big Show versus Alberto Del Rio match, this time taking place inside a steel cage. Following a superplex from the world's largest athlete, Henry would proceed to rip the door off the cage and make his way inside. As he attacked the Big Show, Del Rio took the opportunity to escape the cage and win the match, and Henry would continue his path of destruction by using the cage door to ram the Big Show into the cage, causing a panel wall to collapse and Big Show to tumble out. Incredible.
He got a big beef with Big Show.
Mark would get a chance to prove his worth as a main eventer as he would go one-on-one with World Heavyweight Champion Randy Orton on the July 1st episode of SmackDown. Henry had pinned Orton in a tag team match the previous week, and if he was able to do it again, Teddy Long would have no option but to give Henry a shot at the gold at the upcoming Money in the Bank pay-per-view. But when the match spilled to the outside, the Big Show's music hit. Henry turned his attention to the ramp, anticipating the arrival of the Giant. However, it was all a ruse as Show didn't appear. Henry would end up taking an RKO on the outside and would subsequently be counted out, giving Orton the win in the process.
Hold on, I love that. Just web swing back when you can. That's definitely going to be my next title. Web swinging into the stream, you know.
A furious Henry would make his way to the tech area where he would confront the guy in charge of playing the entrance music. He would verbally berate the man as well as destroying his equipment before picking the unfortunate technician up and launching him off the audio platform. Henry and Big Show would then finally get their hands on one another at Money in the Bank in Chicago.
I promise
and
I'll come
after
back,
what was
guys.
a thoroughly entertaining big man match, it would ultimately be the world's strongest man who would prevail against the former WWE champion.
Yeah, finally!
World's slams and 2 standing splashes. After the bell, Henry grabbed a chair and he placed it around the big leg of his fallen adversary before heading to the second rope and crashing down on that same chair with a bomb, thus injuring the mammoth leg of the Big Show. The big man would get taken out of the arena on a cart, taking him out of action for several months. And on the next episode of SmackDown, Henry would do the exact same thing to Kane to close out the show.
Ouch. Guys, I'm starving right now.
Mark continued to put fellow members of the SmackDown roster on the shelf with the same move that he used to take out Big Show and Kane. Vladimir Kozlov would suffer the same fate, having his leg injured by the big man and his steel chair as a way to write Kozlov off television, as his WWE contract would expire shortly thereafter. Just before
So
this,
basically,
though,
he
on the
became
July
known as a
29th
chair
episode of
breaking leg
SmackDown,
man.
Mark was fixing
Leg
to
breaking
injure
chair
a
man.
very nervous local competitor, but he was interrupted by GM Teddy Long. Teddy told Mark that he couldn't allow him to compete anymore, and no one wanted to face the world's strongest man, as they too may have to face the prospect of being injured and put out of action. That is until Sheamus's music hit and the Irishman came down the ramp to stand face to face with the monster. After having some
Sheamus
fun
is
at
dressed
Mark's
crazy
expense,
as hell.
Sheamus
Why
slapped
are
the
your
big
shorts
man
so
in the
little?
face before warding him off with the steel chair, the same chair that Mark had been using to take out various superstars. The two men would then square off at SummerSlam on August 14th at the Staples Center in LA, and after a hard-hitting back-and-forth encounter, the bout would eventually spill to the outside when a bro kick from Sheamus knocked Henry through the ropes to the floor. As Sheamus attempted to scoop the behemoth up to get him back in the ring, Henry would snatch the
Sheamus
Irishman
seems like
and
such a
drive him
fun
into the
character.
ring
I
post
low-key
before
wanna-
turning
I low-key
around
wanna
and
see
smashing
him.
through a ringside barricade.
Oh.
LA Knight right here is a planted fan, by the way, alongside with this other dirtbag who shall not be named. Henry was able to roll back inside
Wait,
the ring. as
who's that dirtbag? Somebody tell me. Why should he not be named? Who is that? Give me some info here. You can't just say dirtbag who shall not be named. I don't know about wrestling. You gotta tell me who that is. Also, bro, make sure you eat after this. Don't worry, I will. I have food waiting already. I ordered some Mexican. No one's gonna tell me? No one knows who that guy is? Okay, well, I guess we're gonna forever not know.
Sheamus lay on the outside, leading to Sheamus getting counted out and giving the win to the world's strongest man. From here, Mark's dominance would only continue. On the following episode of SmackDown, there would be a 20-man battle royal with the winner becoming the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship at the Night of Champions pay-per-view. In an interview with Matt Striker, Mark said he should already be the #1 contender due to the sheer amount of destruction he has displayed over the past few months.
Yeah,
In the
destruction
match, the
ain't
final
wins,
four would
though.
consist of Sheamus, Wade Barrett, Sin Cara, and of course Mark Henry. Barrett would get taken out by Sheamus, but he in turn would once again fall victim to Henry as the big man eliminated his SummerSlam opponent. After a valiant effort, Sin Cara would get thrown over the top rope, leaving Mark Henry as the last man standing and the new #1 contender for the world title. The following week on SmackDown, Henry and Sheamus would continue their rivalry
I think
in
that
the
was
main
Kevin
event, with
Owens.
Sheamus picking up a victory
Why-
over the #1 contender.
Why is Kevin Owens a dirtbag who shall not be named? What did he do? That's why I said I need to be educated with this wrestling stuff. You can't just say a dirtbag who shall not be named, because then I don't know who you're not trying to name.
Contender in the same way that Henry won at SummerSlam via countout. Despite picking up the victory, it would ultimately be Henry who would get the last word, as he would end the show by delivering a world's strongest slam to Sheamus onto the steel ring steps. The next
that
week
looks like it
on
hurts.
Raw, Henry made an appearance to interrupt John Cena. He told John Boy that in their tag team main event
John
later that
Boy?
night, he may well become the next to enter the Hall of Pain, the very first time that Mark ever said the phrase on WWE television. The team of Sheamus and Cena
Hall
would
of
go on to win that tag
Pain.
team match against Christian and Henry. So, yeah, still notable though for the debut of the Hall of Pain catchphrase. On SmackDown airing on August 30th, Randy Orton would defeat Christian inside a steel cage to cement his place as the world champion heading into Night of Champions. Though after the match, Henry would make his presence felt as he went after the world champion inside the cage, delivering a splash
He
and
went,
a world
he went
strongest slam to
crazy
the
off
fatigued
Randy
Orton.
Orton.
These two
Shit.
would continue to cross paths, with Henry coming out on top for the most part.
Oh,
as they
okay.
made their way-
So Chad just correct. It wasn't Kevin Owens. It was Brad Maddox. Maddox. What did he do? Why is he a dirtbag? Someone tell me. Who is that? Why? I don't understand. Because obviously he must have did something wrong to offend the wrestling community, right?
towards Night of Champions on September 18th. It would be here in the First Niagara Center in Buffalo, New York, that the world's strongest man would become the man by pinning Randy Orton's shoulders to the mat and
like
becoming
that.
World Heavyweight Champion.
Yes.
His 15-year journey had finally culminated in championship gold that signified that he was the top dog of the company. The crowd reacted strongly to the title change as Henry raised the championship above his head, showing that they were perhaps ready for a new name at the top of the card. Following the match, Josh Matthews asked Henry for his thoughts on becoming champion, and Mark let out any frustrations he may have had, saying that he knew.
He said, MJ, it's a very long story, just know Buddy was freaked out and jealous, just overall asshole. Should I watch a story on him? Would you guys want to watch a story on him? I don't know. I feel like the best stories are not just the good wrestlers, but also the ones that be crazy as hell and be doing crazy shit, you know? No? Clee said no. Hell nah. What's wrong with you, MJ? Alright, well, I was just wondering. I don't know. Good reactions. Good content.
No one believed that he would be standing here with the most coveted prize in professional wrestling. These fans who are now cheering had previously been nothing but doubters and haters, and he had welcomed them all into the Hall of Pain. He said that this was his moment, he wasn't sharing it with anyone, and that he would take on all comers to prove himself as the most dominant champion in pro wrestling history. This run that Mark had been on for the past number of months really shone a light on just how far he had come since his debut.
Yes,
and while there may have been bumps in the road and occasions where he may well have been expendable, you still gotta love the fact that he stepped up his game immeasurably when he was given the opportunity to show the world just who he could be. Now that he had the gold, it was up to Mark to continue on that upward trajectory and prove that the company made the right choice in putting the brand's championship on his big shoulders.
But did he? Did he live up to it? Let's see.
The following night on Raw Super Show, Jim Ross interviewed Mark and congratulated him on becoming the new World Heavyweight Champion, before asking him how it felt to prove all the naysayers wrong. Mark told JR that he had never forgive him or the rest of the people that didn't support or believe in him, and Mark also told JR he was going to apologise to the new World Champion on behalf of the people. Mark ordered JR to apologise while stating Ross was never high on him as a performer, that Ross thought Mark was injury prone and an underachiever, and after Henry lifted the championship up in the air, JR did indeed apologise, but still Henry wasn't satisfied. It looked like he was going to attack JR, but
you can't attack that old man.
Colleague Jerry Lawler came to his friend's aid. He convinced Mark to let JR go, but he suffered the consequences as Mark let out Lawler with his patented World's Strongest Slam to a course of booze. He would then do the same to Lawler as he had done to Kane in the Big Show, putting Jerry through the announce table with his signature slam. And Mark would then go to SmackDown where he defended his World Heavyweight title against Christian in a lumberjack match. The winner would then go on to face Randy Orton at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view as Randy had cashed in his rematch clause for the event. Mark would retain his title, and so it was set. Henry versus Orton inside Hell in a Cell for the world title on October 2nd in New Orleans. The structure lowered inside the New Orleans arena, locking champion and challenger inside, and it looked like Orton was finally going to slay the monster inside the aptly named Devil's Playground. But it would be the champion who would walk out of Hell in a Cell in the same way he walked in, with the world championship in his possession. Randy went for his signature punt kick, but he was intercepted by Henry, who connected with his World's Strongest Slam to retain the gold. After the match, Henry grabbed a steel chair and he tried to put Orton out for good the same way he'd done to the likes of Big Show, Kane, Kozlov, and on a recent episode of SmackDown, the Great Khali. He went up for the Vader Bomb, but Randy was able to avoid the contact. He used the chair to attack the world champion, and Mark got chased away up the ramp. On the following episode of SmackDown, it would be a face from Mark's past that would come back to haunt the world champion. The Big Show, who Henry had taken out back in July at Money in the Bank, was back on the blue brand, and he was looking to get some revenge on the man who put him on the shelf. Show said that physical pains are part of the game, but it was the emotional pain and the humbling that he took at the hands of Mark Henry that really stuck in his craw. He was planning to take that pain that Henry caused him and return it tenfold, not just
rightfully
by
so. Get your
Mark,
get back.
but emotionally hurting him as well. And
did he win?
So
oh my god, I want to know if he won.
From the world's strongest man.
So sick.
Mark would tell Big Show that the
we're rooting for Mark.
done a thing to earn a title match, and so he'd let the big man know when and if he would be getting a shot at the world championship, and that the opportunity would come on Mark Henry's time. Later that night, Mark would give his answer to Show's challenge, and that answer was an emphatic no. Show would storm the ring, and the world's largest athlete would lay into the champion with rights and lefts. The men would eventually get separated by security, but only momentarily, as an enraged Show would easily dispense of every member of the security team, all while Henry took his title and headed back up the ramp. Big Show would once again go
Wow,
on the
Henry, you
attack, but
scared? You over here running from a fight?
he would get sent into the barricade
Crazy.
as Mark said about clearing the announce table, looking to send Show through it once again as he had done in the past. This time though, it would be Mark Henry who would get sent crashing through the wood as Big Show delivered a chokeslam to the champion. Show
Listen,
then
I
grabbed
am
the
not. We're supposed to be rooting for Mark Henry here, but I am so rooting for Big Show right now.
chair and he wrapped it around Henry's ankle before climbing the ring steps. But before he could jump off onto the chair, GM
This
Teddy Long
freaking
came
guy
out and
again.
said that Big Show
This
would
man
get his
screwed
title
Teddy
match,
Long.
but only if he didn't
He always
do what he
ruins
was
the good
planning to
moments.
do with that chair. Show acquiesced to the demand, but that didn't stop him nailing the champion with a shot across the back. So the next
Damn.
challenger was put in place. Mark Henry would defend his world title against the Big Show at Vengeance on October 23rd in San Antonio, Texas. The fans inside the AT&T Center had to sit through
Oh,
what
chicken
was,
shit, we
truth
fucking
be
was
told,
there,
a
Thank you,
less than
Takeover
stellar
Twin
encounter
J. Why
between
there's so many
these
J's
two.
in my
Certainly
chat?
not a
What's up
patch
with
on their
y'all?
bout at Money in the Bank. However, all of that apathy fell by the wayside when it came to the finish of the
Ow,
match.
on the hip.
As both men were perched on the second rope, the world champion looked to take the
I'd
challenger.
imagine seeing this fight was absolutely insane. Like, can you imagine these two big old fat men fighting and they're just like moving in slow motion. They're like, where they's like, you know what I'm saying?
Over with a superplex. Both giants flew through the air and crashed down to the canvas, the impact of which caused the ring itself to buckle and collapse. Those inside the arena immediately woke up from their sleep on the second rope. The world champion looked to
What
take the challenger
the
over
heck?
with a superplex. Both giants flew through the air and crashed down to the canvas, the impact of which caused the ring itself to buckle and collapse. Those inside the arena immediately woke up from their slumber and jumped to their feet in excitement as both participants and the referee lay flat out in what remained of the ring.
What
This,
the
of course,
heck?
signaled the end of the match as medical personnel and officials came down to check on both Henry and
Dude,
Show
that's
before the men were
crazy.
taken out of the arena. Big Show on a cart and Mark Henry helped to the back by referees. On the next episode of SmackDown, Big Show came to the ring and he stated he knew he could beat Mark Henry and that Teddy Long assured him that there would be a rematch in the near future. The world champion, however, had
Yes.
other ideas, stating that as far as he was concerned, he handled his business at Vengeance and he was now done with the 500-pounder.
What?
Show challenged Mark to a
What do you
fight,
mean
but
you
the
handle-
champion
you didn't
decided
handle
to head back up the ramp
nothing.
instead. And so we move on
Bro,
to the following week
man,
where
Mark is low key. He a little scary, man. They did him dirty. He's supposed to be. He's a world's strongest man. He's supposed to be handling these motherfuckers, bro.
during a backstage
man.
interview with Matt Striker, Henry got distracted by someone standing in the distance. The
Who said
current
his
Money in the Bank
Juneteenth root
briefcase
for
holder,
Mark?
Daniel Bryan. Mark confronted Bryan and he told him
Guys, I forgot it was Juneteenth. Oh my gosh, happy Juneteenth, guys! Why did no one remind me? We could have watched a Juneteenth dedicated video. Hello. Disappointed.
to not even
Disappointed
think
you
about
guys.
cashing in his briefcase on the world champion. Bryan said he was going to wait until WrestleMania to cash it in, but Mark decided that tonight he wanted to face Bryan in a one-on-one match. On that same episode of SmackDown, Big Show cut a promo saying he still had unfinished business with Mark and so he was still looking his rematch. Before the main event
Okay, now,
match,
Big Show, you need to
told
let it go,
Bryan
buddy.
that he was going to stand in his corner, and so Mark took on Daniel Bryan with the Big Show standing at ringside. The world champion would
Hell no.
dominate the majority of the bout, with the smaller Bryan showing flashes of his technical brilliance to gain a momentary advantage before quickly getting shut down by the power of the heavyweight champion. After a prolonged beating in the corner, Big Show decided to jump in the ring and
I'm
lay
sorry,
out
Willard, I
Henry
didn't
with his
see it.
WMD punch, leaving the champion face down on the mat.
Damn.
And he then went to a beaten Bryan and he encouraged him to cash in his Money in the Bank contract on the now unconscious champion. Just when it looked like Bryan was going to do it, Henry intercepted him and he dropped Bryan with his signature slam.
Damn.
Henry then clobbered the Big Show with the briefcase before once again laying out his adversary with the world's strongest slam. Teddy Long then appeared to announce that
You
the
know
Big Show
what?
would
Maybe Teddy Long and everybody and Mark Henry and all of them was right. Maybe Big Show was just a big waste of time. You talking all this smack but can't back it up? I'm disappointed.
He'd get his rematch for the world title at the upcoming Survivor Series pay-per-view, while the budding rivalry between the champion and Mr. Money in the Bank would continue as they would once again lock horns with similar results, except this time the world
I gotta
champion
stop
would get a
yelling, I'm gonna wake
pinfall
him up.
victory to end the match. After the bell, Henry looked to break Bryan's leg in a similar manner to that of the Big Show months earlier, but before he could, the world's largest athlete would make the save, chasing off the world champion and giving him something to think about before Survivor Series. We go to the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden, for the 25th edition of Survivor Series on November 20th, and those inside the arena would get to see if the Big Show could indeed get his revenge on the man who put him on the shelf earlier in the year.
Let's see,
Things
can you get
didn't
it?
go according to plan for the challenger as he fell victim to the world's strongest slam, but he was able to get his shoulder up before the 3
Waste of
count.
time.
The champion was forced to change tactics, and he decided to drive his opponent through the ringside barricade in an attempt to gain a count-out victory, just like he had done at SummerSlam against Sheamus. But the Big Show was able to get back in before the count of 10. And
Dude, I just can only imagine these fights between Big Show and Mark Henry and how insane they are. Just two big ass tanks just ramming into each other, just like, dude, it would probably be so crazy.
On offense, delivering a top rope elbow drop in the process.
The world's strongest man being a
the
chicken
ring
champ
setup
is
right
low-key
on this
weak chat.
occasion is
That's what I'm saying. But at the same time, I kind of want to backtrack on what I said because he was being a chicken champ, right? But then when he did fight the guy that kept calling him out, he lost. The Big Show lost every time. So can we really say you're called a chicken champ? Maybe he really did think he was a waste of time.
being reinforced before the show began, in kayfabe of course. Show went to end it with his knockout punch, but Henry instead connected with a low blow to force the DQ. So the Big Show won the match, but Henry would keep hold of the gold. After the bout, Henry grabbed the chair and he looked to put Show out the same way he had done months before, but the big man was able to get out of the way, and after a WMD punch, it would be the world champion who would find out what it felt like to get injured by that very chair, as the Big Show would wrap it around Henry's ankle and drop a massive leg on top of the chair.
Man, Karma's a
up the ramp as the
bitch.
champion was tended to in the ring.
Karma's
so this
a
rivalry is
bitch.
far from over, and it would continue on following Survivor Series.
He low-key had that coming.
The following night on SmackDown, Henry would open up the show by coming down to the ring on crutches and telling the world he was medically unable to compete. Big Show would then come down to tell Mark that he only did to the champion what the champion did to him before knocking out Henry with his WMD punch.
And then Big Show is over here punching crippled people? Nah, dirty. He playing dirty.
In the ring, Daniel Bryan's music rang out around the arena, and Mr. Money in the Bank charged down to the ring with a referee and stated he was cashing in his contract. The bell rang, and after eventually turning the champion over, Daniel Bryan pinned Henry's shoulders to the mat to become the new World Heavyweight Champion. However, his celebration would be interrupted by the SmackDown
This
GM
is
Teddy Long.
crazy. So Big Show punching disabled and crippled people. And then he gonna come in and cash in when my man is down. You kicking me while I'm down in the dirt. This is the most disappointing. He had such a beautiful rise, and this is the most disappointing decline I've ever seen in my life.
Who told Bryan that since Henry wasn't medically cleared, there could be no official match. Therefore, Mark Henry was still the World Heavyweight Champion.
Okay, thank you.
Bryan
I was
still
about to say
had
that just no way that could be allowed. Like, dude was already down. Like, that's so wild.
Money in the Bank contract, but Teddy also gave him an opportunity to earn a title match later that night in the main event. A fatal four-way match featuring himself, Cody Rhodes, Wade Barrett, and Randy Orton, with the winner getting the title match on the following episode of SmackDown.
Okay.
Mark was none too pleased about having to defend his title and was even more angry when he found out that the match would take place inside a steel cage. Bryan would win the fatal four-way main event by making Intercontinental Champion Cody Rhodes tap out to the label lock, setting up the event for next week's
Okay, so
live
Bryan's
episode
gonna
of
go against
SmackDown.
him, huh?
It would be Daniel Bryan versus Mark Henry for the world title inside a steel cage. Henry went into the match with his ankle still heavily taped following
Bryan
the
dude
events
is
of
gonna get
Survivor
his damn
Series,
championship,
and Bryan would
bro.
focus on that injury to try to topple the champion, but Henry was able to stay in the fight. Towards the end of the match, Bryan would attempt to escape the cage, but he was caught by Henry, and he would get driven down to the mat with a
I
world's
thought he was
strongest
gonna
slam
win. He's
from the
not
top
gonna
rope.
win.
Mark would retain his title and keep hold of
Oh,
it
you're
heading
garbage.
into the TLC pay-per-view, where it was announced that he would defend the gold once again against the Big Show, this time in a
Ooh,
chairs
TLC
match,
with
meaning
the
the use of
Big
steel
Show.
chairs would be legal for those of you who don't know. Yeah, a chairs match seems kind of unoriginal on the grand scheme of things, but it did tie in with Mark's storyline.
I will say, but it
Mark
works.
would
So.
target Big Show's hand with the use of chairs and the ring steps as a way to eliminate the WMD from the challenger's arsenal. However,
Smart.
as Mark looked for the kill shot, Show was able to shut out the pain and deliver that knockout punch, putting Henry on the mat for the 1-2-3. Mark Henry's World Heavyweight Championship reign had officially come to an end after 90.
Mark Henry's reign ended off an injured WMD punch. His hand was hurt and he ended it. I'm so mad.
91 days.
I think this is the most furious I've ever been off of a career story. Because, excuse me? Like, I think the only other one that I was a little more mad about was, I believe, China. I was a little upset about her because it wasn't fair what happened to her, in my opinion. But this is actually infuriating.
As the new champion celebrated with his newly acquired belt, an enraged Henry attacked Show from behind before delivering a DDT onto a pile of steel chairs, thereby knocking the new world champion out cold. Suddenly, the strings of Ride of the Valkyries could be heard throughout the first Mariner Arena, which signified the arrival of Mr. Money in the Bank. Daniel Bryan, with a referee in tow, managed to finally cash in his contract to officially become the World Heavyweight Champion, ending the Big Show's
This
reign.
freaking, I hate this guy. He shows up at the worst times. What is wrong with him? They say you would actually love Daniel Bryan's story. Probably, but I fucking hate him right now. Cause what is wrong? This guy's always, let me cash in right now while everyone's on the floor. Fuck you.
In a matter of minutes. Not only did Mark Henry now no longer have the world title, the man who dethroned him didn't either, as a new main event star walked out of Baltimore with the coveted gold.
Bro, an opportunist, right?
On the SmackDown following
Took advantage
TLC, all
of
three
it.
men
Shit.
met in the ring to discuss the events from the previous Sunday. Both Mark and Big Show made their case for a rematch for the championship, so GM Teddy Long made a match between the two for later that night, with the winner becoming #1 contender. The bout wouldn't end up taking place, however, as Mark was deemed medically unfit to compete.
Hold on, real quick. Hold on, guys. I gotta open this, and I think it's gonna open over here, and I don't want you guys to see this. Sorry.
On the first SmackDown of 2012, Bryan would defend the title against the Big Show in the main event, with Mark Henry joining the commentary team. After escaping from a WMD, Bryan got in Henry's face and Mark shoved the champion to the floor, resulting in a disqualification. Mark would get his own rematch on the January 20th episode of SmackDown in a lumberjack match with multiple superstars surrounding the ring to prevent the participants from leaving the ringside area. The stipulation was chosen as a result of the show being held in Las Vegas and Teddy Long spinning a wheel to decide what kind of match the two would compete in. After a scuffle with the lumberjacks, initially provoked by Bryan, the men surrounding the ring would get inside the ropes and attack the world champion, causing the match to end in a no contest, meaning Daniel retained the championship by shady means once again. While the lumberjacks battled inside the ring, Bryan slinked away up the ramp clutching his championship before running into Teddy Long backstage. And it was here where the SmackDown GM decided to put a stop to Bryan taking the easy way out by booking a triple threat match for the Royal Rumble, where the champion would defend his belt against both Big Show and Mark Henry inside the steel cage.
I
The world
like.
title match would open up the show, and as Mark attempted a World's Strongest Slam, he was met by a WMD from the Big Show, which effectively took him out of the match. This would eventually allow
that
Bryan to climb over
fast?
the top of the cage and escape to retain his world title. So Bryan had done it once again, the little rascal. On the SmackDown,
He's
following
literally
the
a
Rumble,
little
Henry
rat.
would be announced
You
as one of
little
the
rat.
participants in the upcoming Elimination Chamber match for the world title. However, the big man wasn't too pleased about this. He demanded a one-on-one match with Bryan for the belt, and when Teddy Long denied his request, as well as taking him out of the chamber match, Henry put his hands on the SmackDown GM, getting himself indefinitely suspended.
Wow.
In reality, Mark had hyperextended his knee and he needed some time off, so he had disappeared before making his return to the ring on the February 20th episode of Raw.
So the storyline is he put his hands on the GM and he wasn't supposed to. He got suspended, but actually, in reality, he hurt his knee. We're gonna speed this up a bit, guys, because I have to get going.
A losing effort to Royal Rumble winner Sheamus.
Oh my god, that's too fast. Chill out. Chill out.
Would also get an opportunity at Raw's WWE
Oh
Championship
my god,
against
still too fast. Jesus Christ.
CM Punk on both the April 2nd and April 9th episodes of Raw, where Henry would win both matches, but they would end by countout and disqualification respectively, keeping the title on Punk. They would have a no disqualification bout on the April 16th episode of Raw to wrap up the rivalry, with Punk besting the world's strongest man and retaining his championship. And following this mini feud with Punk, Henry was forced to take time off for potentially career-threatening surgery that would keep him out of action for 9 months.
9 months, that's a lot of time in WWE.
Upon his return to the company, Mark would never hold his brand's top title again, despite being in and around the title picture on both Raw and SmackDown briefly, including that now famous segment with John Cena where Mark announced his retirement only to attack the then WWE champion. Mark would float in and out of the company up until his retirement in 2017 before being inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2018 by his longtime rival, The Big Show. All in all though, the Hall of Fame run of Mark Henry's career is looked back on fondly by fans. Not only did it allow Mark to show off his physical capabilities, which had been stifled at certain times throughout his career up until that point, it allowed him to get more time on the microphone where he delivered some fantastic and thoroughly believable promos, adding to the overall presentation of the world's strongest man that he had from a physical standpoint. Admittedly, the matches he took part in weren't anything groundbreaking, possibly due to working with a limited number of opponents throughout this run. The Big Show, for example, also fell into that monster category, which in turn limited Mark to not being able to have different types of matches with people who worked a different style. Despite this, Mark was still able to be a dominant figure in the main event scene, and he was able to make the audience believe that he was a serious threat, so mission accomplished. He was able to show that he did indeed belong at the top of the cards and was more than capable of carrying a brand as its champion. Nowadays, Mark shares his stories and opinions through different avenues such as podcasting, radio, and YouTube. It's rare to find someone being so open about how they really felt during their time in pro wrestling and how they really feel about today's landscape. So having a person being honest about their past and current feelings towards wrestling makes him an easy recommendation, even if you don't always agree with his takes. At least he openly speaks his mind. But what did you think of the Hall of Pain run? Let me know in the comment section down below, and as always, thank you for watching guys, and please take care.
Okay, so that's the end of the Mark Henry story. My quick thoughts on that. So honestly, if you think about it, JR was sort of correct in the sense of injuries would eventually start to affect him, but it was really as age went on. And if you think about it, his whole storyline is kind of based around the Big Show. And I don't know if I like that. I like his character. I like how, as they said, he was trying to be taken as a serious threat. I really did like that. But I just didn't like that basically it was Mark Henry, the Big Show. Like that's just what you connected in your brain, right? It was definitely an amazing run. I like I said, I really loved his rise to wrestling famous dumb. What is it called? I don't know. But I just feel like it's just yeah. Someone said why Mark looked like a mix between T Grizzly and Rick Ross. And that is where we wrap it up. That is where we call it a day, okay?